Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of building Gotham City in Lego. Recently reduced the size of the table, still got to fix the table up, and I've also still got to have a good clear up. Haven't found a home yet for the ATOT and dropship just there. I've recently been working on the tantive just here, and it's amazing how much easier it was working up here on that build. So I'm so glad that I have made the changes to the Lego room. And also I've been working on my Manchester mock over here, so I had plenty of room there, which again is working really well. But what I want to concentrate on in this update is finding a home for the Old Wayne Terminus here, so I can get rid of that table out of the Lego room, give myself that a little bit more room. So what I'm going to do now is go around to the other side of the table here and try and work out where we can squeeze it in. And it's decision time with the raised platform area here and the Old Wayne Terminus, and I'm really struggling to decide on what to do. I think I've made a decision, but part of me wishes I didn't have this raised platform. The only reason I put it in was so I could have a subway, and if I had my time again, I'd have lowered the table around the edges by so much and then had the train running around there. If I didn't have this, it'd been so much easier to reach the centre of the table as well. But it gives it character, so I suppose that's the plus side with it. Now, at the moment, I think the best thing for me to do is this subway station that we were going to build in here, make this the Old Wayne Terminus. Now, that would mean that the Old Wayne Terminus would no longer have the Batcave in there. But I did mention in the previous video that I was considering doing something under the Old Wayne Tower there. So that's what I would do in order to have a Batman or a Batcave of some description in the city. And what happened is the Batcave will be moved to where the courthouse is, just there. Now, the Old Wayne Terminus, it should be quite easy to pull the platforms up and put them in here. This section here is very easy to amend. This is a Mills plate on the top here, so we can just remove that. And it's just pillars, so again they will come out really easily, so that's going to be all good. Now what I think I will do is I'll have two train lines going this way and two going this way. Now there'll be switch tracks, but I would still keep the red train carriages that I was building for the Old Wayne Terminus to have in here, just as a little Easter egg, so to speak. So also the colour, I really like them. I think they look good having them in there. The only other option I would have had would have been to bring the Old Wayne Terminus to this section just here, but it didn't make sense to do so, and also it would change the whole look of this downtown section just here, and I'm really liking the look of, or the vision I have for this area. So I do think by putting it here is definitely the right decision. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to strip all of these bricks out. As I said, it won't take too long at all to do, and clear this area off here and pull the Mills plate up on this side as well, so I put the switch tracks in, and then we'll bring over the Old Wayne Terminus. And here we have the Old Wayne Terminus, and what I'm thinking is we'll have the two train tracks in the middle here on our main station. We'll then have a platform, then our outer line, which is where it currently is at the moment, and then we'll do another line over the far side, which is the return line. I think that's going to look best. So what I need to do first of all is just map out the track on the actual raised platform area, just to make sure that we can use this structure. And it really would be nice to actually have this as an operational train station. I can just imagine loads of minifigures down here with the trains in here as well. So let's go back to the raised platform, look at the train lines, and just check that we can fit them all in. And we've ended up knocking down about 60% of the support pillars on the raised train line. And I know that frustrates some people every time I redo something. But unfortunately, it is necessary in order to get the Wayne Terminus in following the shortening of the table. So apologies for those people, it does wind up. But anyway, here we have it. And unfortunately, this layout is not going to work. The gaps in between the train lines isn't large enough for me to put the platform with the steps going up to the actual train station itself. So I'm now going to experiment by putting just 3 train lines in, and hopefully that's going to work. So if it does, we'll sort that all out and I'll start lowering it into the Mills plate. And that's part 1 all complete. We've lowered the track into the actual Mills plate itself, and I wasn't able to get the 4th train line in, unfortunately. And it was all due to it just not lining up. I couldn't get this section here to connect back up to the other one. There was just 2 studs out on the actual length of track, which obviously I can't do. There are multiples of 4, so we've had to improvise. But to be fair, this track here is not going to actually have any moving trains on there, so I'm just going to put the red trains carriages on that part. I think that'll look absolutely fine. So what I need to do now is just build up the support pillars back in here, ready for the Mills plate to put on. And what I think I'm going to do is have an archway coming over here so the trains come through the arch. Then that will lead into the train station itself. So yeah, let's get all that sorted out. And I'll check back in once I've done it. And it's nice seeing one section all completed again. And we've used less bricks this time around. I've managed to get away with using less support beams going across. Due to this being on a mills plate, you don't need as many as I had on there. So it's nice to be able to reduce the amount of parts that we're using on there. And I'll continue to do the same on the rest of the build. Now, all I need to do for this is build another couple of rows of support pillars up and then build the arches into the brickwork that we're going to have along there. And then this is where the Wayne Terminus actually starts. Now, one other thing I need to do next is lower the track into the mills plates. We need to get that all sorted. And I need to find a load more tiles out for when we get down to this end for the switch track and the curves. And I was about to start work on the back wall just here. I started putting the dark bluish grey down where the arches are going to be and the brick wall's going to go. I decided I'd get the entire track all sorted, and I wanted to change the plates underneath the track to a dark colour. I just thought that would look a little bit better. Along here, we've tiled it where it needs to be, just using any tiles because you're not really going to see these ones just here. These ones are going to be darker, and it would have been nice to have used black, but I don't actually have any black at the moment. But again, this is something I could quite easily swap over further down the line. Still need to do a lot of plating off over the top here with light bluish grey plates, but I'll do that once I've found them out. I'm only going to be working on this section just here at the moment, so that's all good. I can get this all sorted. So I'm now going to finally build this brick wall up to get up to about the same level as what we've got there. And then we'll bring the station over. Now I am going to need to get quite creative with the station as it is going to be quite wide due to the steps coming up here, which is going to bring the raised platform up higher than I'd ideally like it to be. So I need to somehow work out how I'm going to have the road coming by the side of it. I'm not worried about the centre bit being tall, as we can make that into a structure, but I do still want to be able to see under here and give all the details that we see on the existing Wayne Terminus. So anyway, let's start building that brick wall up, and then we'll bring the Terminus over to here, and then we'll start working out how we're going to get around those problems. And that's the outer walls all ready for the train station to go inside of here. Now, I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to raise these brick walls up any higher so it matches the left-hand side of the raised platform, or whether to keep it at the same height as the left-hand side over there. We'll work that bit out a little bit later, but I want to bring these platforms in first of all, then the main structure itself, see how high that's going to come, and then work out how I'm going to go about building around it. Got a couple of ideas which I think might look quite cool, but we'll wait and see. I haven't bothered putting arches in this section just here, as we're going to have the staircase coming up here, and that's got arches on there as well, so you're not actually going to see that part. So let's bring the platforms over, get those all in place, and then we can start planning the next stage. And here we have the destruction of the Wayne Terminus. So I've managed to peel off the stairs and take that over to the main table, and it came off pretty well. So let's go over and see how it's looking. And here we have the stairs all in place, and they came out of the old Wayne Terminus area very easily. All I had to do was peel the grey plates off of the bottom and then put it back down. It came off in about 3 sections, so it's going smoothly so far. Just need to do a few little repairs over the back there. Now, one thing I am having at the moment is a little bit of a technical issue with the height of this, and I knew this was going to be a problem. Where that green plate is, that's where the mills plate currently rests on this back section here. So if that was coming along here, it's only a few studs above this brick wall just here. So if I had a minifigure standing on this part here, it would be hitting its head on the mills plate. So I just need to work out how I'm going to go about raising this area up, as that's the height for the train track. So I don't want to go any higher. So I'm going to have to come up with some creative idea for that. I might extend the raised platform out over that way a little bit, and then have the train track along there. That is one option. And then I could gain a little bit more height with the way that I build the actual platform for the train station. So it's just something I've got to get my head around at the moment. I'm going to have the same problem on this side with the road, but I've got an idea on that I think may possibly work. But again, I just need to experiment with that. But I've also got an idea for how I want this side of the build to look, which I think could look really good. But yeah, plenty of decisions I need to make with that. Another thing I need to work out is where am I going to put the wires in here? What lights do I want to have? I'm thinking about having some lamps in each of the arches there coming out. I think that might look quite good. I want to have the ones that I had on the original mock, which are these ones just here. It'd be nice to have those on this as well, all lit up, which will mean I need to hide a fair few wires. But there's plenty of places in which I can do that. So yeah, plenty of planning I need to come up with ready for the next episode. And one other thing I need to do is order in some black tiles just to replace those there, because that really is annoying me. Anyway, that's all we have time for. Hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Until next time, bye for now.